Windows Azure Marketplace Data Market is a global marketplace for information. It's a single location that data providers use to publish information and data consumers use to subscribe and query for information that powers their solutions. Windows Azure Data Market makes it easy to find, discover, purchase, and consume data from a variety of different sources. Data Market brings data from leading commercial data providers and public data sources together in a single location under a unified provisioning and billing framework. Data Market APIs allow developers to consume premium content with any platform, application, or workflow. In addition, information workers can use Office Excel and SQL Server to instantly mash up their own data with Data Market content to enable new scenarios around analytics and reporting. You can access Data Market from your browser by navigating to datamarket.azure.com. Here you'll be able to learn more about Data Market, explore datasets, and establish your own Data Market account. Also, if you're a data provider that's interested in publishing your data on Data Market, send an email to datamarket@microsoft.com to start the process. So let's look at some of the benefits of Data Market. For content providers, this includes easily publishing and onboarding their data regardless if it's blob data, structured data, or accessible via web services. Enabling their data to be easily discoverable using Microsoft Office and SQL Server. Being able to leverage Microsoft's scalable cloud platform for storage, content delivery, billing, and reporting. And content providers can grant data consumers user rights on their data to ensure that they still have control on how their data is consumed. For developers, they now have the ability to create a new scenario of building applications that mash up their own data with data market content, targeting any platform which can be consumed across the web, desktop, and mobile device. Information workers will be able to discover and consume reference data in entirely new ways directly from Excel and SQL Server. Data Market will provide information workers with a simple and predictable way for acquiring, reporting, and BI content using tools like Excel that they've grown accustomed to using on a daily basis. So let's actually walk through a demo and see how all this works. So let's take a quick tour of Data Market Portal. So the Data Market Portal provides us with a one-stop shop for data. Here we can learn more about Data Market, we can discover data sets by browsing through categories, or we can drill down into specific data sets. So for example, let's go ahead and click on My Data. My Data really gives us a view into our account. So we can look at all the various data sets that we're subscribed to. As well as drill down into our account information and look at our account key. And our account key is really our authentication token that we use with connecting to Data Market and requesting the data in our data sets. So let's drill down into a specific data set that we've subscribed to. So data.gov crime stats. So in this example, let's browse the crime statistics data set provided by data.gov. Once you subscribe to a data set, you have the ability to interactively browse the data set directly from this portal. You can work with the data sets directly on this site, or you can use a variety of tools like Excel or Tableau software for slicing and dicing or performing visualizations on your data. As you see here, we could look at input parameters and output parameters that are available for our data set. So if we click on Explore the Data, we can run through some sample queries. So for this example, let's go ahead and input California as our state and run through the query. You'll notice we get a result back, 100 records. You'll see an example of the query URL that we used, as well as the service root URL on top, which is what we use to connect to our data set from tools like Excel. It's directly from Data Market. So let's go ahead and open up Excel. And we're going to select Power Pivot and the Power Pivot window. And you'll notice there's a little entry on the ribbon called From Windows Azure Data Market. So we select that. Now at this point, we'll need to enter our dataset URL, which we can retrieve from our dataset on our portal. So let's go ahead and browse for our DataGov dataset. We'll explore this dataset. And let's just copy and paste the current query URL. So this is going to retrieve the top 100 crime stats, and we'll also need to provide a account key. So again, we'll go back to our portal and we'll copy and paste our account key. Recall we mentioned our account key is really our authentication token. So let's select my account and let's just copy and paste the account key, and we'll paste that back into our Power Pivot dialog box. And once we do that, we'll go ahead and test the connection. Working, and it should come back with perfect. And at this point, Excel is retrieving the data from Data Market. So we're actually retrieving our crime stat data set. We specified 100 rows, so it's in the process of retrieving the information. Okay, it looks like it's completed. We'll hit on close, and notice we've retrieved our 100 rows. So at this point, data is available to us in Excel. We can use Power Pivot to slice and dice the data any which way we want, run analysis reports, and so on. So let's go ahead and see how we can integrate directly from Excel into Data Market. So there's a Windows Data Market add-in for Excel that we can download. And once we install it, you'll notice under the Data tab, there's now an entry for import data from Data Market. So once we provide our account key and sign in with the account key, we're able to browse all the various data sets that we're currently subscribed to. So in my case here, I'm subscribed to about 5 data sets. So let's go ahead and use the DataGov crime stats data set. We'll click on import data, and once we do so, we'll have a little dialog box that has the various input parameters for our data sets. We'll go in and specify default values here. I'm just going to say give me the top 100 data sets, and we'll click on import data. We'll leave everything default, and once we click on import data, we'll go out and hit Data Market, and we'll retrieve, here we go, the top 100. Let's take a look at how we can use Visual Studio to connect to Data Market. Visual Studio includes built-in support for OData services. Let's go into our code behind for our sample application. The first thing we do is add a service reference to the Azure Data Market dataset so it's accessible from within Visual Studio. So let's walk through an example of adding a service reference to our weather bug dataset. So we'll click on Historical Observations, and we'll scroll down to Details, and let's copy and paste the service route URI. Now we'll take the service route URI and we'll paste it into our address dialog. Okay, and then click Go. At this point, we'll go and retrieve the metadata about that service. Now we give it a namespace, hit OK, and we now have a strongly typed weather bug type that we can use to access this data set. Next, we need to instantiate a context object for our data set. So this example here is going against the DataGov US crime rate data set. So we provide our service URI, we provide a user ID along with our account key, and we instantiate the context object. Once we have the context object, we can now write link queries against this OData service and retrieve information using LINQ query language. So let's go ahead and run our application. Click F5. Give it a sec. Here we go. So our form, here we go. So we'll enter San Francisco to our city. And let's go ahead and enter California, get crime rate. So we're going out, instantiating our context object, and we're executing our LINQ query. And here's the information about San Francisco. To learn more about Data Market, go to datamarket.azure.com. And if you're a data provider and you have valuable data that you want to expose using Data Market, send an email to datamarket@microsoft.com. Thank you.